Hey everybody, and welcome to my first top 10 Paper Mario video. Today's top 10 is rather specific, and it's on game crashing glitches. A lot of us have been there. You know, you've been playing for hours on end without saving, and then the worst thing next to a power outage happens.
What? My game just crashed.
Game crashes are generally upsetting, frustrating, and could even make a glitchy game unplayable. But what if your goal was to crash the game? What would be the most interesting, complex ways to do it? Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 has had a community of individuals dedicated to finding some of the most broken and complicated glitches. Many discoveries have been made, documented, and perfected for speedruns. But some of the most amazing discoveries never received their chance in the spotlight, which brings us to the top 10 game-crashing glitches in Paper Mario. Starting our list off at number 10 is the Floating Point Exception Crash. Possibly the most popular game crash in Paper Mario, the Floating Point Exception simply involves jumping off this platform into the lava. The goal is to reach the loading zone without riding lackluster. Obviously, this was not intentional, as the entrance of the next room is filled with more lava. If done correctly, Mario will be taken into the room. However, due to an error related to respawning Mario, the game crashes. It's worth noting that this glitch only crashes on the Nintendo 64 release of Paper Mario, which, unlike newer releases of the game, has a built-in crash handler. This is where the glitch gets its name, in the crash handler's error report. Floating Point Exception. Next up is the Double Dip Egg Bomb on Lava Piranha crash. The crash is basically what the name suggests. You equip the Double Dip badge, use its ability in the Lava Piranha fight, and select an Egg Bomb as one of the items. It's as simple as that, and the game mysteriously crashes. This earns the number 9 spot over the Floating Point Exception crash due to its specific prerequisites and just plain obscurity. You may be surprised to find that double dipping an egg bomb works perfectly fine on other enemies, so why doesn't it work here? Clocking in at number 8 is the Storytelling Toad glitch. Talking to the Flower Garden Toad, known as Min T, will reveal her desire to plant the 4 magical seeds and spawn the door to flower fields. However, by abusing glitches to skip various parts of the game, you can corrupt this sequence to an extent. For example, by performing the Blue House skip to enter Chapter 5 early, then planting all the magical seeds, and then returning to a previously skipped chapter, you can re-trigger the Magical Seeds quest. You may notice after doing this, all of the flowers are planted, but the door to flower fields is not present. Interestingly enough, the game is confused at this point, and is unsure of what dialogue Min T is supposed to use. The effect is this. Text from the game's intro cutscene rolling across the top of the screen. For unknown reasons, the intro cutscene text is dependent on which partner is out, in order of their assigned value in the game's code. Despite the mystery surrounding this glitch, one thing is for certain. Talking to her twice without changing rooms in between will crash the game. Number 7 involves a glitch commonly known as text storage, which is achievable with a number of setups. The easiest can only be done on the Japanese version of the game by performing item duplication with this honey syrup, and allowing the Twister to take Mario into another room. Like most of the glitches featured in this list, there's a lot of uncertainties behind what exactly this does. A number of theories have been suggested, the most generally accepted being that the game is attempting to spawn text, which reacts depending on other spawns throughout the game. The complexities behind this glitch are absolutely insane, so we aren't exactly sure how to replicate certain effects. Just running around with this glitch produces interesting results, ranging from arbitrary text spawns to flat-out game crashes. On the Wii Virtual Console version, crashes generally appear like this. The Nintendo 64 sometimes reacts differently, still capable of crashing just like Virtual Console, but sometimes with interesting visuals to top it off. Crystal Palace has a handful of glitches, and this one is arguably the best. On multiple occasions, Duplighosts will attempt to fool Mario by disguising themselves as his allies. However, on the Japanese version of Paper Mario only, there's a tiny window where you can perform a precise spin through the cutscene trigger. In the next room, Swapping partners produces some interesting results after eventually completing the cutscene. Since, in normal cases, Bombette thanks Mario with a kiss, the newly chosen partner attempts to carry out this same action. In the event that the active partner is Cooper, Sushi, and Lackluster, you may enjoy seeing them give Mario some love. However, with Goombario, Parakarry, Bow, or Watt the game attempts to play an invalid animation and crashes. Coming in at number 5 is the Forever Forest music corruption glitch. This involves upgrade menu storage, a glitch responsible for absolute game destruction in Paper Mario. The initial setup is done by storing a loading zone with frame-perfect jumps, and hitting a super block. As soon as the lead-in text begins, holding B clears it and opens the upgrade menu in the next room. In our testing, the Nintendo 64 version has never managed to do this without crashing. However, on the Wii Virtual Console, it sometimes works. At this point, the game is extremely susceptible to crashes. In fact, it's basically unplayable. But a glitch that crashes the game this often is bound to have its fair share of interesting results. After months of testing, not a whole lot has been confirmed with upgrade menu storage due to its pseudo-randomness, but extremely specific attention to detail has had its perks in replicating results. By performing upgrade menu storage in room FFF1 on a file saved at Boo's mansion without any partners upgraded and having the active party member as Bow or Sushi, craziness may ensue. Immediately after triggering upgrade menu storage, you may be thinking, oh, the game crashed. Not a bad hypothesis by any means, especially for a video named Top 10 Game Crashing Glitches in Paper Mario, but you'd actually be mistaken. For unknown reasons, this glitch is capable of lowering the game's frame rate to unbelievably small numbers. In this specific setup, the frame rate is approximately 0.01786 frames per second, or rather 56 seconds per frame. Taking the pipe to Boo's mansion is the next step, which will take roughly 2 hours. And no, I'm not exaggerating. Upon entering the next room, the frame rate should instantly return to normal, allowing you the brief freedom of normal gameplay. The final step involves taking the loading zone towards Gusty Gulch. The effect? Well, it's pretty audible. Unlike most crashes, this one manages to consistently corrupt the music, which will loop until the game is shut off. Another crash as a result of upgrade menu storage earns its spot on this list for one good reason: rainbows. As much as I'd love to explain this one, it's never been replicated, which is why it barely misses our top 3. And that's also why I need to use some old recorded footage from before I had a decent capture card, so my apologies there. The rainbow spawn crash generated one of my all-time favorite Paper Mario screenshots. It's still pretty difficult to believe this even happened. Okay, wait, hold up. Let's go back a little bit. Slow motion. Alright. So here, one frame before weird stuff happened, Mario is happily strolling across the dry desert with his friend Watt, who is trying to catch up, and a Poke can be spotted in the distance. Advance one frame and they're gone. Or maybe they're rainbows now. It's hard to say what exactly happened here, but it remains one of the coolest game crashes in Paper Mario to date. Number 3 might grab some of your guys' attention because it's time to save Princess Peach as... Princess Peach? No, this is not a hack. After unlocking the door to Peach's courtyard in the Chapter 6 intermission, abusing trigger skips similar to the storytelling Toad glitch allows you to enter Bowser's castle and trigger Chapter 8 as Peach. The game actually believes you're Mario at this point, which can lead to some interesting dialogue and paradoxical occurrences. But remember, our goal here is still to crash the game. It's time to pay our old friend Junior Troopa a visit and start up a battle. The game does allow Peach to battle, but Junior Troopa manages to screw things up once again by attacking Peach instead of Twink. And voila! Pretty particle effects following an absurd sequence of events. And the game crashed, of course. Footprint storage, currently the most complex game-crashing glitch in Paper Mario, manages to take the number 2 spot in our top 10. Starting off in Shiver City, we mount Sushi from a precise position on this dock, allowing us to swim on land. Eventually, you can meander your way into this room, where a story cutscene involving Duplighosts and a lone superblock are just waiting to be broken. By encountering this white clubba twice, movement-related memory addresses are manipulated perfectly to allow movement during the superblock upgrade sequence following a partner swap. Choosing Cooper and making your way to this blue switch begins our second stage of cutscene memory address manipulation. Hitting the Cooper on the left with Mario's hammer, opening the partner menu, switching the active partner to Bo, and using Bo's invisibility will cause a bit of craziness following this fight. Afterwards, Mario will no longer be invisible. That is, until you spin. Make your way back up to the superblock, and eventually choose Watt as the partner to upgrade. Input C down while Watt appears to trigger partner swap storage, and open the partner menu to advance a few game states. Head towards the white clubba and open the partner menu once again, and encounter him. In the battle, select the No option, and do not switch partners. The next goal is to defeat these two clubbas and win the battle. Afterwards, open the partner menu during Mario's thumbs up animation, and if all done correctly, the entire game should be in an inactive state, aside from Mario. At this point, no loading zones will function. In fact, everything is basically not working. The only way to restore the game is to close the partner menu, but who would want to do that? You might have noticed that Mario's not making footprints in the snow like normal. They're being stored up. Eventually, the game cannot handle the amount of stored footprints, resulting in a crash. Our number one game-crashing glitch is known as Volcano Music Corruption. The gist of it is to perform movement-related memory address manipulation, similar to that seen in the previous crash. Exchanging dialogue with Colorado while Parakarry is our active partner will prompt an extended version of the normal cutscene, where Parakarry delivers him a letter. Except I don't want Parakarry to give him the letter, I want Bombette to. And oh wait, there is no letter, pause, unpause, now Parakarry is Bombette. Hey look, Parakarry has incorrect animations and Colorado is invisible. For some reason, I feel like pausing again, and welcome to Paper Mario.